The rebuilding process started by LaFontaine was in full swing. It would be revolutionary. 17 players would make their debuts in 1953. Names like Marquis, Williams, Barassi, Case and Frank Bluey Adams.
I can always remember in the early days, sort of the dinners after the game, that there would be so much soft drink on the table, it would be unbelievable, because there's so many of the younger players didn't drink, you know, the Braces and what have you, and the Dixons and etc. And by all of us coming to the club at the same time, it just built a terrific bond, and I think that served us well in years to come. I've found on a few occasions that, you know, Smithy could make a criticism of a player and that was it, but if you made the same criticism of that player to Smithy, you in turn got verbally belted up. The overall thought I've got of Norman Smith is the amount of respect that man commanded. It was absolutely staggering, and I think there was a reason there, and the reason was that there wouldn't have been anything that Norman Smith wouldn't have asked you to have done that he wouldn't have been prepared to do himself had he been playing. And that sort of, you know, came across time and time again. And the other point was that any decision that Norman Smith made was always in the best interest of the Melbourne Football Club. I couldn't speak highly of that man, not only as a coach, but as an individual.
Onto his left foot. He drives up further on the half-forward flank position. And the chance now for Adams of Melbourne. He's 60 yards out for goal. He drives across to Webb. And Webb it is who marks the ball some 45 yards out.
In the dying minutes, a huge controversy. Frank Adams had dashed off the bench to replace the injured Jeff Case. He didn't even see Magpie star Des Healy. Their sickening collision left them both unconscious.
He was credited with a 9.3 100-yard dash. That's how quick Bluey was, and he was enormously strong. I suppose the sensation he created with the Healy-Adams collision in the 1955 grand final just showed the force of the man.
Like 58, it was wet and miserable. But this time there would be no mistakes. Melbourne would restrict Collingwood to 2 goals.
I can remember parking the car and walking through the car park on the way to the dressing rooms that day, and the heavens opened up and the rain came down, and I can remember thinking to myself, gee, these conditions are exactly the same as 1958, and I'm quite sure the Collingwood team, once the heavens opened and the rain came down, they would have thought, you beauty, this is a very good omen. But I have never in my life played in a side that was so focused as that side was that day. It was absolutely unbelievable. There was no indiscretions, there was nothing toward, there were no punches thrown, just every player had just a burning desire. And I think because the conditions sort of mirrored the ones we had in 58, what we were looking for was a chance in some small way to redeem ourselves for 1958. And of course Collingwood, you know, wrote themselves into the record books with the lowest grand final score of 2-2.
Out to the open spaces, going towards Groom. Groom gives it across to Adams, and Melbourne are coming again. Adams kicks it into the goal square. The ball is bouncing towards Keneally. Can he get there?
A very good act by Roger Dean. And the thing that surprised me at the end of the day when it did go to the tribunal, the entire football knew of Roger's acting ability. They really did. And for Brass to get 4 weeks for that, when in my opinion there was an opportunity for him actually to get off, was just absolutely unbelievable.
Frank Adams would lead Melbourne onto the MCG for the finals. They'd beaten St Kilda in the first semi and now faced Hawthorn in the preliminary final with Barassi looking on.
I would say just about out of 15 nights away, probably we had curfews on 13 nights because Norm had us training, had us playing hard, and 2 nights before the game, righto fellas, early to bed, and that was just the competitive side of Norm. He wanted to prove himself that, yeah, we really were the best side.